We note the current development of the Black Volta Gold Project by the indigenous Ghanaian company, Engineers and Planners Limited. This is the first mining project of such scale being undertaken by a wholly owned Ghanaian company. When operational, this project is expected to produce about 170,000 ounces of gold a year over a mine life of over 15 years or more. The sixth, responsible and community-centered mining. Local content cannot be separated from responsible mining. We're strengthening development agreements and community engagement under the revised minerals and mining framework. Traditional authorities and MMDCs will continue to play a decisive role in monitoring compliance and safeguarding community interest. Mining must leave our communities better than it found them.
John Mahama has done a big move recently, and he calls it 6 pillar. The Mahama 6 strategic pillars is for mining transformation, and I'm loving what African leaders, African presidents are doing right now. All this 2026 is talking about transform partnership to move local content from simple transaction to transformational business partnership with a genuine shared participation. He's talking about value addition to stop exporting raw materials like gold, manganese, and lithium, and instead to build refineries and processing facilities in Ghana so that the value stays in the country. That is one of the moves that I love to hear from our African presidents. We have all these resources, but what we have to do is to make sure the value remain as add value on these resources. Number 3 on this 6 pillar is talking about the human capital development. It's talking about the tech-driven mining future and expand local ownership. And number 6 is about the responsible mining and community protection to improve community engagement, enforce environmental safeguards, and fight illegal mining. This is one of the things that I love about John Mahama. And Mahama's plan is meant to ensure that Ghana benefit more fully from its natural resources, okay, to create jobs, to build local industries, and protect communities and the environment. Okay. Moving the mining sector beyond exporting just raw materials to developing a technology-driven value-added economy, it's a very great thing. And this will make sure that our youths are not running from our own countries, going to abroad just to look for jobs. Adding value on these resources, it's a great deal. And I tell you, even if you don't like John Mahama, if he managed to implement these 6 pillar strategies, Ghana will become something else, because Ghana has cocoa, Ghana has lithium, manganese, Ghana has all these resources, but they are exporting raw materials at cheaper prices. And when raw materials come back to Africa, it's coming up back expensive. First of all, let's watch these clips here of John Mahama, and then we continue.
Thank you. Nana Sassi never disappoints. He's so eloquent, and we are happy that our youth are carrying on the traditions of our fathers. Nana Nketia, the 5th paramount chief of the Sikado traditional area and the president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs and chairman of the occasion, but also my comrade and my fellow Nkrumahist, I acknowledge you. I acknowledge all our paramount chiefs and traditional leaders and queen mothers who are here with us today. I acknowledge our members of the clergy, Christian and Muslim, who have joined us for today's program. Mr. Hakim Adai, Council of State Member for the Central Region, you're welcome. Our Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Ama Kofi Boan, I want to thank you for your statement. I want to acknowledge your deputy, who happens to be my Member of Parliament for Bole Bamboy, Honorable Yusuf. our distinguished chairman of the board of the Minerals Commission, Honorable Nto Boahi, who happened to be my roommate in university, members of the Minerals Commission board, distinguished industry players, esteemed members of the diplomatic corps, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege for me to join you here in the beautiful capital of the Western region, Takoradi, for this historic maiden Mining Local Content Summit. I wish to extend a special welcome to our international partners who have traveled from other parts of the country to be part of this defining conversation, our captains of the mining industry, the Chamber of Mines. I wish to welcome all of you to this summit. For over a century or more, mining has been the backbone of Ghana's economy. From Obuasi to Takwa, from Bibiani to Nangodi, from Awaso to the emerging lithium belts of Awoya, mineral wealth has shaped our fiscal landscape and funded our national development. Yet we must confront an uncomfortable truth. While Ghana is Africa's leading gold producer and amongst the top 6 globally, much of the high-value activity in our mining value chain, advanced engineering, processing, equipment manufacturing, technical services, and refining still takes place outside our borders. In 2023 alone, the extractive sector generated almost $6.6 billion in export revenues. However, local participation in high-value segments remains very limited, with domestic procurements accounting for only a fraction of the total sectoral spend. We've been prolific producers, but we have not yet become full participants in the extractive value chain. This summit is about closing that gap. As we deliberate, we must ask ourselves a fundamental question. What will be the true legacy of Ghana's vast mineral wealth 100 years from now? Will it be recorded only in export statistics and royalty payments? Or it will be remembered as the foundation upon which we build world-class industries, thriving Ghanaian enterprises, and resilient mining communities? This question must serve as our compass to offer us direction. And we're not alone on this journey. Many other African countries are asking the same question. And many other countries in the world are asking the same question. In Botswana, they've leveraged strategic partnerships to ensure value retention and citizen participation in their diamond sector. In Chile, they've transformed their copper wealth and advantage into a gold mining technology ecosystem. Indonesia mandated domestic processing of nickel and thereby repositioning themselves at the center of the global electric vehicle battery supply chain. The lesson is clear. Smart, enforceable, and forward-looking local content policies do not deter investment. They create sustainable competitiveness. The key is balance. Such policies must be both ambitious and practical. They must be firm, but also performance-based. They must be focused not merely on percentage targets, but on measurable capacity development outcomes. Today, I wish to outline 5 strategic pillars that will guide our approach to local content. The first is that local content must evolve from transactional procurements to transformational partnerships. This government is reviewing and refining our mining legislation and regulatory frameworks to ensure that Ghanaian enterprises move up the mining value chain, from suppliers of consumables to manufacturers of critical components, from service providers to innovators. We'll incentivize mining firms to build local capacity and not simply purchase locally. Equity participation, technology transfer, and knowledge sharing must become standard practice and not the exception. The second pillar: it is no longer acceptable for Ghana to continue to export raw ores and import finished products. We must aim to eliminate raw ore exports within the next 5 years. We must support the establishment of refineries and bullion infrastructure. We must promote mineral-based industrial clusters. We must facilitate downstream processing of our bauxite, manganese, and lithium. We must align our mining strategy with the global green energy transition. Our mineral wealth must power Ghana's industrialization, not merely sustain export dependence. And the third, no mining sector can be competitive without a skilled workforce. And so we will strengthen institutions such as UMAT and our technical universities. We'll deepen apprenticeship programs in collaboration with the mining industry. We'll prioritize skills in automation and robotics, drone and modern exploration technologies, data analytics, environmental sustainability, and renewable energy integration. We must train not only miners, but also mining technologists, engineers, and innovators. The fourth, the future of mining is digital, sustainable, and technology-driven. And therefore, Ghana must become a hub for AI-assisted exploration, for IoT-enabled asset management, for blockchain-based supply chain transparency, and for local R&D, Ghana-specific mining challenges. We'll explore establishing a national mining innovation and research hub to institutionalize knowledge sharing and technology adaptation. And so this summit must mark the beginning of a structured ecosystem and not a one-off event. The fifth is indigenous participation in the mining sector. The government will encourage and support the indigenous Ghanaian private sector to scale up from just mining subcontracting to full ownership of world-class mining operations. We note the current development of the Black Volta Gold Project by the indigenous Ghanaian company Engineers and Planners Limited. This is the first mining project of such scale being undertaken by a wholly owned Ghanaian company. When operational, this project is expected to produce about 170,000 ounces of gold a year over a mine life of over 15 years or more. The sixth, responsible and community-centered mining. Local content cannot be separated from responsible mining. We're strengthening development agreements and community engagement under the revised Minerals and mining framework. Traditional authorities and MMDCs will continue to play a decisive role in monitoring compliance and safeguarding community interests. Mining must leave our communities better than it found them. We'll continue the fight against illegal gold mining and work to formalize the artisanal and small-scale mining sectors. We'll increase our efforts to clean our water bodies and reclaim the lands that have been mined out. Ladies and gentlemen, Nana Chairman, this is a shared responsibility. The government cannot achieve this transformation alone. To Ghanaian entrepreneurs, the bar for quality and innovation is high, but the opportunity is unprecedented, and so you must prepare, you must build partnerships, and you must compete. To our international investors, Ghana offers you stability, policy clarity, and long-term partnerships. But we expect genuine collaboration that embeds capacity within our economy. To the regulators and policymakers, enforcement must be consistent, transparent, and fair. What will be the legacy of our mineral wealth 100 years from now? If we get this right, our greatest export will not be raw gold, raw bauxite, raw manganese ores, or lithium. Our greatest export will be Ghanaian talent, Ghanaian technology, Ghanaian enterprise, and a resilient and competitive mining economy. And so this Maiden Mining Local Content Summit must deliver more than just declarations. It must deliver a binding commitment, a shared national pact that makes our mining industry thrive. So, ladies and gentlemen, the work begins now, and it is a charge to all partners, our Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, our Minerals Commission, and all industry players. Let's leave this summit determined to build a win-win partnership for all of us.
Welcome back. Now, let me present my reaction. Now, I'll start with the pillar number one, the transform partnership. Mahama said, local content must move from transaction to transformation partnership. That means what? That means not just Africans being laborers, not just Africans being security guards, but Africans being partners, Africans being owners, Africans being decision makers. And this is a direct threat to all the colonial business world. Pillar number two is about value addition. This one is very massive. That's one I'm clapping for it. Adding value addition. Mahama is basically saying, why should Ghana export raw materials? Why should Ghana export raw materials only to buy it back as expensive jewelries? Why should Ghana export lithium only to watch Tesla batteries get made in Europe? And he is pushing for refineries and processing plants inside Ghana. That is what I call economic liberation. And the white or the colonizers will not stand to see this. And that's why we need the unity of African countries so that we can present this and it can move forward. Because if we are united, they will not use our neighbors to sabotage this one. So we need unity to make this happen. Pillar number four is talking about, number three is talking about human capital development. He's talking about skills. He's talking about innovation, training youth, automation, drones, data analysis. That means Africa will not just dig minerals. Africa will run the technology of extraction and production. This is what I call future. The future lies in our hands as Africans. The future lies in Ghana. The future does not lie in Europe. Pillar number four is talking about tech-driven mining future. Mahama mentioned AI exploration, blockchain supply chains, ICT systems, and this is Africa stepping into the modern era on our own terms, not as beggars, but we are stepping as builders. That is very important. Pillar number five is about to expand local ownership, and this one scares foreign companies the most because Africans are no longer being subcontractors. Mahama wants Ghanaians companies to become owners of major projects, not foreign companies, and that will end the exploitation. That is what I call true sovereignty. If that happens, it is a true sovereignty. Number 6, he's talking about responsible mining and community protection. He also spoke about illegal mining, environmental cleanup, land reclamation. Because what is the point of wealth if the people are poisoned? What is the point of wealth? And this pillar is saying Africa resources must uplift African communities, not to destroy them. My good family, what I'm hearing from this 6 pillar is just bigger and bigger than even Ghana. It is a blueprint. If Ghana succeeds this, Nigeria will follow, Kenya will follow, Burkina Faso will follow, or Congo will follow, Rwanda will follow, and suddenly the entire Africa will no longer be exporting poverty. And Africa is exporting power. Let me tell you one thing. We need to have this economic sovereignty, economic liberations. We need to have this. Because for over 500 years, Africa has supplied the world with raw materials. Gold from Ghana, rubber from Congo, oil from Nigeria, diamond from Sierra Leone. But where is the refining? Where are the manufacturing plants? Where are the global cooperation headquarters? They are not in Africa. The late Guyanese scholar Walter Rodney wrote in How Europe Underdeveloped Africa that Africa's underdevelopment was not accidental. It was structured, scheduled, and occurred. Structured through extraction, structured through unequal trade, through the dependency. Mahama's 6 pillar is a directly challenge to that structure. And this will create tension to the system, and it's already creating tension to the system. And the big reason why they put up conflict within people, they put up these coups and everything, is because they don't want ideas like this to be implemented. They want chaos in the countries, so that the president of that country does not get time to implement such good ideas. Because if we build our own companies here in African countries, if we cannot export raw materials, we export finished goods, that means our resources will be value added, and that means we are going to control the economy. We are going to control the economy. That is amazing. It's one of the things that I will love to see when I'm still living. It's one of the things that we are fighting as Pan-Africans. It's one of the things that we, as the Gen Zs and the Gen X, the Gen that is coming, we want to be the future. We want to be the liberators, to carry our countries. We don't want to leave our countries. Imagine resources like gold being mined here, and then we are the miners, local miners. We are being paid less, and then it's exported as raw materials to Europe. And then we go to Europe to work for them on these companies, paying us pennies. That's so bad. But we are looking forward, Mahama, if this one succeeds, this will be the blueprint of the next Africa. Africa is rising, and let's support leaders who have the mind of changing all this. Tell me what you think on the comment section. Until next episode, peace out.